phone usage was excessive.
How much was it?
On one day, you use your phone for 11 hours. Your average for a week was 8 hours.
8 hours a day? I'm just shocked. I'm honestly shocked at myself. Like, 8 hours a day or 11 hours in one day is just... That's intense. That's like most of your day that you spent just in front of a screen.
I can't have a conversation, I can't sit through a movie, I can't hang out in real life with friends, I can't make it through dinner, I can't make it through a conversation, I can't drive my car more than a couple of blocks, very dangerous, without thumbing through social media. And this isn't some like thing that I justify as like it's for work or I need to know what's going on. This is mindless scrolling. This is that thing you do on Twitter, that thing you do on Instagram. There's nothing behind it. There's no benefit, there's no upside. And if you've ever met me, like most people, this is what it looks like.
So when people talk about addiction or think of addiction, they tend to think of it as a problem with a substance. So you're addicted to drugs, you're addicted to alcohol, whereas actually addiction's a whole lot more than that. It's a series of patterns that manifests itself in so many different ways. A smartphone addiction, for instance, is the exact same as any other addiction, sort of a shopping addiction, a gambling addiction. It's compulsive behaviour that person is dependent upon.
To really get to the bottom of nomophobia, I went into Nottingham city centre. The city is home to 60,000 students at 2 universities. I wanted to test the accuracy of these figures and see if people were really aware of how much time they spent in front of screens. Do either of you two know your screen time?
I haven't had mine on.
Well, mine's like 4 hours and 45 minutes per day, apparently.
Oh my god.
Well, for today it was 4 hours and 45 minutes.
7 hours, 49 minutes.
What about yours?
Mine was probably longer. I stay up till 3 o'clock on my phone.
So it must be about 13 hours.
Yeah.
4 hours and 25 minutes.
That's quite bad. That's like my whole life, isn't it? I don't know.
Because I don't even have headphones on me today, so I'm not even listening to music or anything. I'm just kind of on it.
It's higher than I expected, to be honest, I think.
Applications encourage us to be scrolling, scrolling and scrolling again. We waste hours just mindlessly viewing the lives of other people. But is there a way to ever really escape the constant noise that surrounds us when there's always new notifications available at the touch of a button?
I challenge everyone to take a 48-hour digital detox in your own life. Maybe it's Friday night, you plug the phone on the charger, and you don't look at it again till Monday morning. Or take any 2 days, and people go, well, no, I need to check my phone. What are you saying? That's ludicrous. But you know what? I guarantee you, you will feel better.
You find that a lot of particularly young people are almost reliant on their phones. It's like almost an extra body part, and when they can't get the device, they're lost and they don't know what to do.
Curious to find out if the answer for a nomophobia sufferer really was to have a digital detox, this is Zach. He's a 20-year-old psychology student, and last week he spent 56 hours on his phone. He agreed to take part in the digital detox for 48 hours, so I messaged him a few weeks later.
"48 hours without a phone, I don't think I can manage. Because I'm just with my phone 24/7. Like, it's part of my hand, it's part of my brain. and it's just with me all the time. Like, it's in me, it's on me, and I don't think I could live without it. The first few hours were actually, they weren't as bad as I thought. Like, I quite enjoyed them actually. It was nice. At that point, it was like a novel feeling, you know, that first like, oh, like it's like a breath of fresh air, like it's something new, it's something that you haven't done before. And I felt I did feel like quite free in that moment.
From the outside, Zach's morning seemed to go quite smoothly. He didn't look like he was struggling, or he didn't give any signs that he was struggling. However, when we went and sat down for lunch, it was a completely different story, and that's when his day began to unravel.
I keep forgetting that like my phone just isn't in my pocket, and like I keep trying to reach it and then realising it's not there. So I'm just going to check that I actually still have it. I'm not sure if it's in my bag, just because it gives me a lot more confidence that it's actually there if it's on me, even if I'm not using it. Yeah. Here it is. Time is 1:10.
We went for a meal and we lasted a few minutes before you had to actually check whether or not your phone was there.
Yeah. I was just thinking, honestly, like genuinely, like honest to God, I thought that I didn't have my phone anymore, because it's the fact that it's not on me, you can't feel it on your person. That's what kind of motivated me to kind of like just open my bag and check. 'Cause honestly, I wasn't sure. I was 100% convinced that I dropped or lost my phone somewhere because it wasn't on me.
So the addiction isn't necessarily how many times they message somebody or how many times they post on Facebook. It's the pattern of behaviour of picking up that phone, checking that phone. They might only be posting on Facebook 2 times a day, but they might be checking their phone 50, 200, how many times a day?
I'm quite excited actually to go to London. I feel like it's going to be quite an adventure, and because we don't have our phones in London, there's just something happening all the time, and I'm really excited to kind of like actually see it happening and hear it happening, and not just be in my own world with my headphones in all the time. Maybe that will give me some like newfound inspiration to like, I don't know, not be on my phone so much.
While Zach made his way to London, I did the same. He struggled through day 1 of the detox, so I said I'd join him on day 2. I'm in the half of UK adults without nomophobia. My screen time is around 3 hours per day, and I've got no issues leaving my phone at home. Although we've got very different relationships with our phones, I knew today might be a struggle for us both, but for different reasons. Me because I like the convenience of having a phone, but Zach because his phone is his crutch when he's alone.
Just being on my own in general, just whenever I have like a spare moment, it's always on my phone, and it was hard to kind of like get out of that habit.
When we arrived into London, I realised just what a big challenge this was. It's one of the most connected cities in the world, and everywhere you turn, someone's looking at a screen. Even someone without nomophobia would probably find this difficult. If Zach could survive a day here, I was sure he could do it anywhere. As I waited at the meeting point for Zach, I realised how used to immediacy we are. We can get answers from people in a second. We're a society not used to waiting for things, and as I stood there with no concept of time, it felt like forever. This is very hard to do this without a phone. It's actually quite frustrating now, because normally we just like message each other. I have literally stood here for about 10 minutes not being able to message you. Big question, did you bring your phone?
I did, yeah.
You bought it?
Yeah.
Why?
Why? Because it's nice to just have it on you.
It's the comfort.
Yeah.
Thought so, not surprised.
I think the biggest thing for me was just struggling over time. It was that constant, like, just chipping away at me that I think got to me the most. And it just kind of just dug, like, deep into my brain that, like, I need my phone, I need my phone, I need my phone.
The next station is Leicester Square. Change here for Piccadilly line.
I'm about to go on a street tour that I've organised, and I literally have my paper instructions, so let me get them. As we don't have Google Maps, I've had to put them all here. So we're going to see how this goes, because when it all starts to go wrong, we're lost, basically. We're going to be lost. Heading out to look for street art in the pouring rain with only pieces of paper to guide us could have easily have caused us to give in and get out Zach's phone. But we embraced the experience and found the places we were looking for, plus places we wouldn't have seen looking down at our phones. But when we did get there, the temptation to post on social media and tell everyone else what we were up to was still there. The one temptation that we've actually had with the whole street art thing is that we are actually thinking still about Instagram, even though we haven't actually got it.
Yeah. Even just Snapchat. I'd be tempted to put some of this stuff on Snapchat.
I think it was more kind of the immediacy of having, like, seeing something cool, and then your first reaction being, oh, I have to share this so that other people know that I'm doing something cool. But I think it was kind of good just having that moment to myself.
After that moment, I noticed a change in Zach. Even though he got off to a shaky start on the detox, it was almost like he finally forgot that he even owned a phone or that it was buried in the bottom of his bag. It was the happiest and most confident I'd seen him without his phone since the detox began. And for him, I think it finally opened his eyes as to all the time that he was spending in front of a screen and all of the things that he could have been doing instead.
I think now I've realised, like, more than ever is that, like, life does go on and, like, there's more to see in the world than just, like, what you've got, like, looking down. Like, honestly, like, just some of the things that we saw, like, just little things like that rapper on the tube, that was quite cool. Like, if we had our headphones on, we wouldn't have noticed, and if we were looking down, we wouldn't have noticed.
It's unlikely we'll ever know a world without nomophobia, given how connected society is. But every so often, don't be afraid to take a break from your screens, because they'll still be there when you get back. But life? You only get one of those. So how you choose to live it? Well, that's up to you.